You look at your cat curled up in their usual spot, healthy, calm, maybe even snoring softly. Everything seems fine, but here's the part most cat owners don't realize. Even a healthy-looking cat can be carrying something harmful inside. Something you can't see. Intestinal worms are one of the most common, yet most overlooked, health issues in cats. And the tricky part, your cat can be infected and show absolutely no signs. The moment you hear the word worms, it's easy to assume this is a problem only for outdoor cats or strays. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Indoor cats can get worms. Well cared for cats with up-to-date vaccines can get them. Even your pampered, flea-free, never been outside tabby, still at risk. So the real question becomes, how often do you need to deworm your cat? What's considered safe, what's necessary, and what's just overkill? Let's start with the basics. There are a few main types of worms that affect cats. The most common are roundworms, tapeworms, hookworms, and whipworms. Roundworms are usually picked up from contaminated soil or from hunting. Kittens can get them through their mother's milk. Tapeworms typically come from fleas. And yes, a single infected flea swallowed during grooming can lead to a full-blown tapeworm problem. So if you've ever shrugged off a flea or two, thinking it wasn't a big deal, think again. Now, for the practical side, how often should you actually deworm your cat? That answer depends on their age, lifestyle, and environment. Let's talk kittens first. Kittens are incredibly vulnerable to worms, and the effects can be serious. If a kitten is infected, the parasites can impact growth, cause weight loss, and in some cases, even lead to fatal complications. That's why deworming starts early. Most vets recommend treating kittens every 2 weeks, starting around 3 weeks of age and continuing until about 12 weeks. After that, monthly deworming continues until they're 6 months old. It might sound like a lot, but remember, this is a crucial stage in development. The goal is to clear any early infections and protect their growing immune systems. For adult cats, things depend more on exposure. If your cat spends any time outdoors, hunts, or interacts with other animals, monthly deworming is often the safest choice. They're constantly at risk of reinfection, walking across contaminated soil, eating a rodent, licking up a flea. All of those things put your cat right back in the cycle. For indoor cats, the risk is lower but not gone. Parasite eggs can hitch a ride on your shoes, through potting soil, or even through open windows. Fleas can make their way inside easily, and your cat's grooming habits make them highly likely to ingest one if it lands on them. So for indoor cats, most veterinarians recommend deworming every 3 months, about 4 times a year. That might surprise you. A lot of cat owners assume that indoor cats are safe from most parasites, but the data doesn't lie. Cases of worms in indoor-only cats are far from rare. You might wonder, can't I just get a fecal test to see if my cat has worms before giving medication? You can, and sometimes that's a good idea, but fecal tests aren't foolproof. They only detect worms if the cat happens to be shedding eggs at the time of the test. That doesn't always happen, especially with light or early-stage infections. A negative result doesn't mean there's nothing there. That's why many vets suggest routine deworming even if your cat's poop looks clean and the test comes back negative. If you're still hesitant, maybe because your cat seems totally fine, think about this. Worms don't always show symptoms until the infection gets worse. But even before that, they can affect your cat's digestion, nutrient absorption, energy levels, and immune system. Some cats may vomit or have diarrhea. Some might lose weight or develop a dull coat. Others may drag their rear across the floor or show changes in appetite. But many show none of that at all, and the longer the worms are there, the more damage they can cause internally. Okay, so how do you actually give the dewormer? There are a few methods. Oral tablets are common and effective. Some come in chewable form, but many cats won't accept them willingly, so you might need to hide it in food or use a pill popper. There are also topical treatments. These are applied to the back of the neck and absorbed through the skin. They're great for cats who hate pills. Injectable dewormers are also available, usually administered by a vet. Always be sure you're using a dewormer specifically formulated for cats. Dog dewormers can be toxic to cats. And don't guess the dosage, measure your cat's weight and follow the instructions exactly. Giving too much can be dangerous. Giving too little might do nothing at all. And here's something important. Deworming is not a one-and-done solution. These treatments don't provide long-term protection. They clear out the worms currently inside your cat, but they don't stop new ones from coming in. That's why frequency matters. A cat can be reinfected just days after deworming. Without a schedule, you're stuck in a cycle: clear, reinfect, clear again. To prevent worms in the first place, make flea prevention a top priority. Since fleas are the main vector for tapeworms, using a good flea control product year-round dramatically reduces risk. Keep litter boxes clean, wash bedding regularly, vacuum often, and seal up any entry points where rodents might sneak into your home. Don't let your guard down just because your cat stays indoors. So let's put it all together. Kittens need frequent deworming. Every 2 weeks until 12 weeks old, then monthly until 6 months. Adult outdoor cats should be dewormed monthly. Indoor cats, every 3 months is a safe rule. Fecal tests are helpful, but they're not always reliable on their own. And while side effects from dewormers are rare, they can include temporary nausea, soft stool, or reduced appetite for a day or two. If something feels off or the reaction is strong, call your vet immediately. It's one of the simplest ways to protect your cat's health. Intestinal worms might not be something you think about every day, but if you ignore them, the damage adds up. The good news: it's easy to stay ahead of it. Set a reminder, stay on schedule, and talk with your vet if you're unsure what product to use. Your cat can't tell you what's going on inside their body, but you can act on their behalf and protect them before things go wrong. Preventative care might not be flashy, but it's what keeps our pets thriving in the long run. If you found this helpful and want more honest, straight to the point info to keep your cat healthy, please subscribe. You'll get more clear guidance, no fluff, just the things that truly matter for your cat's well-being. And trust me, your cat will thank you, even if they won't admit it.